Yo, what's happening, friends? Welcome back. How are you? Hope you're doing well, mate. Welcome back to Football Yannick. I want to speak about something I've been thinking about, chatting to my mates about, actually, as a Chelsea fan. Most of you, almost certainly, all of you will know. Look, I don't think my mob are going to win the Premier League this season, although I'm generally pretty high on the Chelsea project in terms of its future. I think there's just so much good young talent that's not, coming to its prime yet, that there's a positive future. Call me optimistic, but I do feel good. And I feel pretty good about the current team's performances. I think we'll be in the top 5, balancing Champions League football, which will be the next step. Getting top 5 with Conference League was one thing. Champions League is different gravy granules. So that's my target for my football club, but I don't think we'll be in a title race, which means we'll probably, I think maybe we'll challenge next season. What will that be? 26, 27. So that will be, if we don't win it next season, it will be a decade, which is a whole other story in itself. But I just want to relieve Chelsea from this conversation and talk about this season. Now, of course, there are clubs much better suited to winning the Premier League this season just because of age and experience in both players and the managers, and squad depth. Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City have got good squad depth. And let's be fair, they are the 3 teams in contention to win the Premier League this season. And I'm starting to think, I'm having this existential football fan moment as a Chelsea fan. Who do I want to win the league now? Yeah? Because obviously, Chelsea are big London rivals of Arsenal. Chelsea hate Tottenham more. Arsenal hate Tottenham more. They've got a nice little focus target there, but they thoroughly dislike each other, Chelsea and Arsenal. It's part of the culture, it's part of the footballing theatre of fandom. And realistically, non-biased, just stepping out, just looking at the Premier League as a product, as a show, as an entity, in terms of how everything woven together. Probably the best thing for football, hold on, nearly was sick saying this, is Arsenal winning it. Because they're not Man City and they're not Liverpool. Liverpool, of course, are current holders. They won it in the last sort of few years under Klopp. And, there's the unsavoury nature of breaking the transfer record twice in one window. Yes, Chelsea fan, glass houses, yada, yada, yada. We didn't do it twice in one window, though. The way Isak behaved, and, they're not like the darlings of English football at the moment, Liverpool. Do you know what I mean? And, you're never really rooting for the current Premier League champions, are you? So there's that. There's Man City, and long have all of us together. If you're not, a Manchester City fan, all of us together have been waiting for the downfall of Guardiola. Again, even if you step into that sort of neutral space and be like, we were, blessed as a league to see the best of Guardiola. I know his Barcelona side were amazing, but he was only there for 3 years, and he did have Lionel Messi, etc. So he did have all that, and it's great to have the best in the Premier League as a Premier League fan. But, of course, there's all the stuff with in the courts. One day, we might find out what the result of that is, but it's just exhausting to keep bringing it back into the conversation, so I will leave it there. I think we've all just been waiting for a change. And it was refreshing Arne Slot coming in and winning it to a degree, I'm at this point now as a Chelsea fan where I'm looking at the league, and I'm thinking it would be good for another team to do it, and a team that's played well and, spent money, but not necessarily grotesque amount. I know they've spent 100 million on Rice, but they've not, I know they've got a big net spend, Arsenal, but it's because they don't sell players very well. They haven't had just completely gross transfer windows. Do you know what I mean? There's continuity there. And as much as stick as Mikel Arteta gets from Marvel fans for being sort of boring or risk averse or whatever, and even indeed some Arsenal fans, they are top of the league. They do have an amazing squad now. Like Odegaard comes out, Eze comes in. You know, Bukayo Saka comes out, Madueke comes in, which is a great backup, you know. Havertz comes out, Gyökeres comes in. It's like, and they've got loads of defenders. Zubimendi now, you know, of course. Mosquera's great high-level cover. Norgard, no one's even speaking about that. That was Brentford's captain. He's only at 31. He's a great midfielder. Like, you know, when he sort of settles in and learns what Mikel Arteta wants, excellent cover. Like, the squad is mustard, mate. It's really, really good now. And just for, like, variation's sake, it would make a lot of... It would be really good for the league for Arsenal to win it. And I don't want it to happen still. I would hate that. I'm like listening. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to recognise that fact. But you know, and Arsenal fans will totally understand this as well. By the way, I just obviously would not enjoy them winning the league, and I don't want them to do it. So there you go. Which then leaves you with the alternative going, right, so who do you want to freaking do this? I don't want Liverpool. Chelsea have a much bigger rivalry with Liverpool than Man City. And again, like, this is so, like, condescending in many ways. But there's something... Okay, so let me offer a disclaimer. Man City are a massive football club with a great history and a really good fan base that was with them when they went down and up, and they've got a proper fan base core. But like, you know, the new era Etihad state-owned supercharged projects where you just get Guardiola, you pay Haaland £500,000 a week. Like, there's something unsavoury. And yes, I am a Chelsea fan. We benefited massively from Abramovich coming in and, you know, when there was no rules. Again, the rules, have they been broken with Man City? We don't know. But what I'm saying is, I don't care if Man City win things. And that does come across as condescending because I don't feel like they are... I don't see them as this like proper Premier League icon rivals. They've been this amazing machine. I don't want to say they're soulless because that's unfair to like the true fans and the fabric of the club. But, you know, in the same way, Liverpool fans back in the mid-noughties would have preferred maybe Chelsea to keep winning the league under Abramovich than Man United winning more titles under Ferguson. Yeah, that's probably a really good comparison. You know, that's how I feel about Man City now. You know, because they're the even newer kids on the block, the new money, you know, state-backed project, and you know the relentless winning machine. But and also like again, I am being deadly serious. Okay, 36-year-old man, and I come from the south of England as well, of course. I don't know one Man City fan. I don't know a single Man City fan. I know all my mates are Tottenham, Chelsea, Arsenal, loads of Man United, classic, you know, from the south of England, everyone supports in my age, everyone supports Man United. I'm not mates with any Man City fans, so there's no, like banter to be had. I don't know. I tell a lie, I used to know one years ago. It wasn't a mate of mine, but it was a young guy who, he wasn't really into football. He was a chef at a pub, and he just said Man City was his team, but I think he just picked them because they were winning at the time. But yeah, he didn't really know much about football. He just picked Man City. But I don't know any Man City fans. So for me, like, I don't feel the pain of when they win. Whereas, you know, Liverpool, I know loads of Scousers down there. You get loads of Southern Scousers. Liverpool, Man United, like this, that, and the other. That's how everyone's been dining out on Man United's pain for so long now. Because whether you live in the Midlands or whether you live down south, you just know loads of Man United fans, so you will always be afforded the opportunity to banter your mates. But I guess, like, obviously there'll be loads of City fans in Manchester, but there's certainly none in my, like, social groups. So I think maybe that's been a massive factor in like, me saying, yeah, you know, go for it, win all you want, like, it's not going to affect me. But are we at a point now where it's just boring? Like, would I rather boring than Arsenal friend, you know, pain, or like, you know, fan base pain? even though that's better for the league. I think what I'll have to do is, should Arsenal win it, I'll have to have a big boy word with myself and be like, this is good for the league, this is good for football. Whereas, yeah, because I'm at the point now, and I wanted to talk about this, because Chelsea, you know, we were the second biggest team in the Premier League era, you know, before, or successful, should I say, before Man City started winning titles under Guardiola. Because it was, you know, Arsenal have got 3 Prems, Chelsea have got 5, but they were always good, Chelsea. You know, they were always good. A couple of Champions Leagues in there, loads of other European trophies as well, like, you know, multiple Club World Cups, Europa Leagues, you know, obviously European trophies back from the 70s onwards, beating Real Madrid in finals, people forget. And then, like, and so we're at the point now, you win that title under Conte in 2017, which, again, next season, if you don't win, it would have been a decade without winning the league. Then becomes a problem, I think, when you get to double digits. But we're way too undercooked for that now. So I'm gonna have to look for alternatives. And I had that thought now, because do you know why I thought it? Because when Manchester City were just so good, it was like, kind of like you just sort of didn't think about it. But now it's opening up, and, you know, Liverpool won it last season. Man City they're just not as good as they were. They won't be as good as they were as well. Even if they win the title, they still won't be as good as they were under Pep. It sort of opens you up to thinking, well, this is a problem now, because Arsenal genuinely can win the league. And that's probably good, but as a Chelsea fan, you gotta think, it really makes you kind of like introspect and look at ourselves. Like, nothing like sobers you up about your own team's success like Arsenal winning the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? As a Chelsea fan, that's when you go, right, okay, let's all sit down and talk about this sort of thing. What's actually happening? Because up until then, you can go, well, there's so much has happened. Guardiola ruined the landscape of football with his dominance, like Rubik's Cube possession football that wasn't even often that exciting, but he just found a way to relentlessly win. From a Chelsea fan's perspective, of course, the club was sanctioned and sold. There was all that stuff. Which was made it very, very tricky. And then obviously new ownership has to come in. They have to learn from mistakes, which they've done to a degree. But then, you know, they've chosen the path of youth, you know, front-loaded pain, front-loaded investment for youth to come in later, which does look like it could work in many ways with a lot of players. So you sort of go, right. But then eventually at some point you're going to have to sit and go, right, but what about actually winning the league? You know, when is this going to happen? You know, because you could make a discussion like, you know, Palmer. How old is Palmer? 23? He's not 24. He's 23. Like, Palmer wins, you know, his first Premier League at like 28. Esteval was going to be like 24 or something. 24. Do you know what I mean? Like something like that. Like, still really young, like, entering his prime, Esteval. But, you know, that's that's like miles away. Do you know what I mean? So you could make an argument that these players, like Van Dijk, when did he win the Prem with Liverpool? Like, for the first time, 29? Like, he wasn't, do you know what I mean? And like, he went on to win a Champions League, another Premier League. So you kind of look at these Chelsea players and go, yeah, they could reach this sort of 27, 28 and win lots of, you know, win a few Champions League and Premier Leagues together if they're that good and if the league allows them at that point. But that's a huge weight, you know. So I've been very introspective about it as a Chelsea fan, and I've wanted to talk about it on here, this being a general football channel, and, you know, start considering the alternatives, because it's been, how many years? It's been over, is it 2 decades since Arsenal won it? Which is, you know, a very long time. Certainly hope we don't have to wait that long. So I guess, I can't say I want Arsenal to win it. I guess you got to choose Man City, which is like the default meh option. But I wanted to speak about this. I thought it was really interesting. I've been chatting to some mates about it, like, as a rival fan, who you'd want to sort of do it, basically. Let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. Thank you for joining me, for liking and subscribing. Remember, trying to get to 20k subs. So if you do enjoy listening to me chat ball, then do consider subscribing. Other than that, see you soon. Peace.